New details about killer asteroid Apophis scare scientists. Will it hit us in 2029? The largest vacuum cleaner for greenhouse gases began operating on Earth. Does this technology have a future? These are just some of the topics on this new episode. Stay till the end. The volcano at Grindavik made a cone. Media attention on the new volcano in Iceland has died down, but not the volcano itself. The catastrophe that came upon the town of Grindavik continues to grow, and the volcano has already formed a cone that is starting to grow like a mountain. I remind you that the volcano erupted in December last year initially from a 3 kilometers long crack in the ground. Icelanders are used to volcanoes and even benefit from them with geothermal energy, but the new one was a real shock because there has been no volcanic activity on the Reykjavik Peninsula for 8 centuries. Due to the constant ejection of lava, the cone of the new volcano will continue to grow, but no one can predict exactly how big it will get. There is an option to get the size of a small hill and change the landscape in that area. Its lava is moving at a pace of 1 mile per hour and is expected to reach the Atlantic coast soon. The eruption forced the evacuation of all 4,000 residents of Grindavik and subsequently lost their homes to the lava flow. Muslim refugees are leaving Germany. At the beginning of the year, Germany took measures to stop the draining of their social system by Muslim refugees after heated discussions in the parliament. The government started to introduce debit cards in several cities, instead of giving cash to foreigners who sought asylum in Europe. The measure apparently worked because some of them, mainly from Afghanistan and Syria, decided to change the country and leave Germany. The young men wanted cash. The cards did not suit them, although with them they can buy absolutely everything they need: food, clothes, shoes, and whatever they want. Another reason why most migrants did not want the cards was that they could only be used for shopping in the area where they were issued. Bank transfers or withdrawals of larger amounts at ATMs are no longer possible. The government commented that the main reason for this measure is to stop refugees from sending their aid cash money to their home countries and then make a living in Germany through some illegal activity. This is how the social programs were drained, and the funds did not enter the German economy, but left the country. A series of large-scale magnetic storms. If you remember, about 2 weeks ago, a red aurora appeared over many parts of the world, including some where this is not normally possible, like Cuba, for example. These events strangely became more frequent over the past year. We remind you that auroras occur as a result of large coronal mass eruptions from the sun, and in this case, they are due to giant black spots on our star. These are the most powerful magnetic storms in 150 years, and the danger, by the way, has not yet passed, as a new black spot 17 times the size of Earth has appeared on the sun. Apparently, our star is entering its peak, and predictions of a large-scale eruption that will fry satellites and other electronics are becoming more and more likely. Strange pillars of light. These photos on your screens have sparked a heated discussion on the internet after several of their shots were posted from different angles and locations in Japan. The footage is proven to be authentic, and naturally the first explanation of this phenomenon is UFOs. But if only it were that simple. According to one of the eyewitnesses, these are columns of light reflected from fishing boats. Sometimes fishermen turn on strong underwater lanterns to attract the passages of fish. At a certain angle, when it's cold and there are ice crystals in the air, light is reflected and this phenomenon can be observed. Dozens of people have filmed the light pillars from many different villages and towns. This has caused a bit of stirring, but things are calm now. The Neuralink chip has made a problem. When Elon Musk's Neuralink company successfully implanted a brain chip in a human for the first time, it caused a sensation. The joy of the patient Nolan Arbo and the people involved in the company did not last long because recently the chip had a problem. The man is completely paralyzed, and the device allowed him to use the computer by moving the mouse with his thoughts. And there was even a video of him playing chess, but his brain cells all of a sudden stopped making a good connection with the chip. Other details were not shared. A while later, Neuralink stated that they not only fixed the problem, but also made the implant more sensitive and increased its performance. The chip is known to be implanted next to the center controlling movements in the brain. And among the speculations is that the problem occurred because the device was placed in the bones of the skull, rather than on the surface of the brain itself. Even last year, experts warned of another danger. The chip could be hacked at some point. The Line City in Saudi Arabia is not going according to plan. The construction of the smart megacity called The Line, that Saudi Arabia has started in the middle of the desert, is in crisis, and it is a big one. According to the original design, the line was supposed to be 100 miles long with a height of 1,640 feet and a width of 650 feet, And this whole thing was supposed to house 9 million people by 2030. Latest news, however, points out that this is hardly possible even after 6 years of construction. Of all 100 miles in length, only 1.2 will be built by that time, and it will accommodate a little less than 300,000 people. Some of the companies have already started laying off construction workers, which means that the project will not continue, or at least not on the original scale. According to the Bloomberg agency, there is a shortage of funding, and the total amount needed is $1 trillion. Separately, there is somehow no interest from people to buy homes in it. The Arabs have gone a little overboard with this mega project. Some agencies even say it can be abandoned altogether. The largest vacuum cleaner for carbon dioxide is in operation. There are already 2 plants in the world, and several more under construction that suck carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and purify the air. Using chemicals, greenhouse gases are liquefied and then injected deep into the ground. The largest such installation so far is called Mammoth and is located in Iceland. It is powered by clean geothermal energy. It has a modular design with as many as 72 collector containers to capture the carbon dioxide. At full capacity, Mammoth will be able to extract 36,000 tons of carbon dioxide per year. This is the equivalent of removing 7,800 cars. So far, however, the technology is hardly affordable and not very effective due to the astronomical consumption of power. A much larger facility is being built in Texas by an oil company, but it plans to use the extracted carbon dioxide to push oil out of hard-to-reach places. This whole greenhouse vacuum technology is still quite controversial, as it is unproven to have an effect for the scale of our planet. ChatGPT destroyed 100,000 books. OpenAI, the company that created ChatGPT, has deleted the 2 databases called Books 1 and Books 2, which contained over 100,000 books that were used to train ChatGPT 3. The reason is a copyright lawsuit filed by the Authors Guild of the USA. According to the lawyers, the AI company has been illegally using other authors' materials to train their artificial intelligence for months. The Authors Guild demanded OpenAI to provide data on the materials that they used. At first, the company rightfully refused due to privacy clauses, and months later it turns out that they simply deleted everything. High-quality data was used for AI training, and companies use it apparently not so legally. The problem worsened after it became clear that the creators of Books 1 and Books 2 were no longer part of the company and could not be found. China is building a network of satellites. The Chinese have followed Starlink's lead and are starting a network of satellites called Skynet. Yes, just like from the Terminator movie. The idea for the network is to have global coverage and provide internet everywhere. Their first satellite, named Smart Skynet 01, has already been launched at an altitude of 20,000 kilometers, which is about 40 times higher than Elon Musk's satellites. China's plans for now are Skynet to include 32 satellites and create a worldwide network. They have another project for the creation of 2 other new Chinese satellite groups for the purpose of space communications, which will each have 12,000 satellites each. They will be in low Earth orbits, just like Starlink. The internet delivered by the new network is planned to be without any blind spots. Low Earth orbit satellites will be visible from the Earth's surface with the naked eye. There is no information for the exact equipment, but the current one is known to have a high-speed microwave link and 2-way laser communication, as well as a platform for digital processing and data transmission. New calculations for Asteroid Apophis. In 2004, a large asteroid was discovered that was believed to hit Earth in 2029 and cause a planetary catastrophe. For this reason, he was named Apophis after the Egyptian god of chaos and destruction. However, new calculations have shown that the apocalypse is delayed by at least a few years. The asteroid will indeed pass dangerously close to Earth, even below the communication satellites, but it will not affect us. On the other hand, it will provide a real cosmic spectacle, because it can be observed with the naked eye. However, this will happen on Friday the 13th, April 2029. Apophis is the largest object to pass so close to Earth since we have observations. NASA will even send a special probe to study it. There is one very interesting situation, though. If the asteroid passes within certain kilometers from Earth, the gravity of our planet will change its orbit in such a way that it will spin around and hit us 7 years later, in 2036. Calculations at the moment indicate that we will be fine, but everything will be certain in 2029, when Apophis passes dangerously close to us. A fire in Poland contaminated half of Europe. A huge fire destroyed the largest mall in the Polish capital Warsaw about 2 weeks ago, and few people realized that a large part of Europe had been gassed. The giant shopping center housed 1,400 stores, and therefore as many as 50 firefighting teams with more than 200 firefighters, including chemical specialists, had to fight it. There were no direct casualties from the fire, but footage showed thick black smoke rising over the area, prompting authorities to warn residents of the Polish capital to stay indoors and close all windows tightly. Unfortunately, the air poisoning was not limited to Warsaw. Atmospheric currents carried it over half of Europe, covering even parts of Bulgaria. Many other countries were also affected, and the smoke looked really apocalyptic. In the north, Norway, Sweden, Scotland, and Denmark were affected, and even the southeastern parts of Iceland. If you enjoyed this video, you will like this one here. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting content.